Hey, Banner North, it's me, Nick. Happy Wednesday. Hope you all are staying warm this Wednesday. I know in Illinois there was snow this morning, which was weird. It's April. But thanks so much for joining us. I'm going to go ahead and jump into the verse and then the devotional for today. So today's verse comes from James 1 through 3, James 1, 2 through 3. And it says, "Consider it pure joy, my brothers and sisters, whenever you face trials of many kinds, because you know that the testing of faith produces perseverance." So this devotional was talking about joy. First talk about the difference between happiness and joy, how happiness is very circumstantial. Happiness comes from whatever events are happening that day, because it's very fluid, very kind of influenced by the things around us. But joy is a much more deep, much more internal state of being that no matter what, joy can become the foundational hope of who we are. The devotion talked about we have joy because we know the ending. We're living in between the beginning of creation and the end, and we know that at the end of creation, that we know that all of the pain will be away, that there will be peace, that there will be in unity with God. And so, honestly, this was a really hard passage for me to read. I know that if I were to describe the past couple of weeks, the word joy doesn't even come in the top 30. Um, and I feel like a lot of us are in that way too, that this really is a period of pain, a period of loneliness, of isolation, a period of uncertainty, and not many of us would probably describe this as a period of joy. I know that I'm not feeling very joyful right now. And if none of you are feeling joyful either, that's okay. You don't need to feel shame for not being happy all the time. You don't need to be ashamed of being in a state of pain, because this is a very hard, lonely circumstance that we've never faced anything like this. I think what makes this period right now so difficult is the fact that we don't know the ending, at least the immediate ending. We don't know how this is going to plan out. Many of us have internships lined up that we're confused about, don't know the outcome. Some of us have financial circumstances that we don't know how they're going to be resolved, and there's a lot of confusion. There's a lot of uncertainty, even in my own life, with my own family, with my own relationships. I don't know what's coming, and it's hard to find joy in that uncertainty. So I was reminded of in Exodus when the Israelites were in the desert, and then in the desert for 40 years, and then they didn't know where they were going, but they knew that they were following something. They had the fire at night and the cloud in the day to be able to guide them, to be able to lead them to the next step. And that trust and that being able to walk step by step, day by day with God is incredibly hard to do, because we are constantly trying to look ahead and see what's coming next. A lot of times, God does not reveal that to us, because I think for me that it's not what is ahead of the road that matters, but it's where you're at right now. I think that God cares a little less about what's going to happen tomorrow than He cares about how He's going to impact you today. And so I think that where the joy can come from in this is finding joy in being able to meet with God daily, finding joy in being able to come into those areas and come into the parts of our lives where we could be connected to God and be close with Him during this time. I don't want to downplay or minimize the pain that any of us are going through. This is a hard time. But my prayer and my hope is that during this time we're able to really find intimacy with God and be vulnerable with each other and still be connected and still be able to find hope in this time. And so a question to reflect about right now is, I guess, what are you scared of right now? What things are uncertain in your life? What things are you nervous about, unsure about as we're going forward? And then just be able to think about that. And then also with that is, how can you find joy in this time? What does finding joy look like to you? Joy is a really big, complicated word, and so take some time thinking about what joy actually looks like. And then for the prayer prompts today, spend some time in prayer of just praying for a heart of joy. Um, Joy is not something that I think could come just instantly. I think joy is something that needs to really ingrain into our core, really just take time to be able to root itself in our hearts. And so, for the prayer prompt today, pray for joy. Um, Talk to God about all the things that are stressing you. Be able to talk to Him about the things that are causing you pain, causing you loneliness right now, and also pray that in spite of that, and despite all of the things that will tell you not to be joyful, pray that you'll receive God's joy in this time. Pray that Christ will be able to meet you daily where you're at, be able to be that supply, be that source of joy and peace and hope in your life. That's all for today. Really take some time to pray. Just watching these videos isn't going to be enough. Just reading the short devotional isn't enough. But really, talk to God. Whatever that looks like to you. If you need to turn off the lights and bow your head, if you need to take a walk and talk to Him as you're walking, just find some time to be able to be in communion with Him and be able to be in His presence today. All right. Thanks, guys. I love you, and I hope to see you guys soon. Bye.